Yep, that's right. We are looking at another race at the Red Bull Ring. That's right. We are at the Austrian Grand Prix for this weekend, and we are on the cusp of the halfway point of the F1 2022 season calendar. That's right. Yeah, I can't believe it. We're almost there. So things are getting down to the nitty-gritty, and I'm really hoping that this weekend can show up like we did last year, because it was an amazing race, or at least halfway as good as the race that we just had on the July 4th weekend last weekend. Yeah, that's right. You can see Old Glory behind me. Maybe they were in Britain, but we were celebrating Independence Day here in America, and what a great race to celebrate it with. I'm your host, Sean Kilburn. This is F1 P1 Life. Got some lights on. Away we go. All right, so last weekend was a lot, almost hard to start anywhere, but we're just gonna start with obviously the first lap. I mean, what an amazing first lap from so many people, and obviously we're not gonna go any farther without saying thank God Guan Yu Zhou is okay. Thank God for the halo, and yes, I don't think we would have him around if it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for somebody up above looking out for him. So, you know, what a stand-up, great guy, and just, you don't want to see anybody on the grid go down or have impact like that. And if you haven't seen it already, I'm sure I'll throw up some clips. But yeah, it was just nasty. It was almost hard. It was easy to miss in the first from the camera views. So you weren't even sure. You didn't even know it was Guan Yu over there or what had happened to him. What a shocking way to start off the Britain GP. And once they got going again, of course, Hamilton got himself up into a really good position of third, I believe it was. But that really wasn't going to be the case on the second restart. Obviously, Perez was a little more in tune to that. And yeah, so it made for a little bit harder of a race for Hamilton in that respect. But there was pace in that Mercedes. And you could see, yeah, that's right. I got it on right here. I had to throw on the Hamilton T because, you know, even though it wasn't a win, I was waiting for his first win this season to bust this one out. But it felt like it, and I'm sure it felt like it to Mercedes, especially after having Russell out. That's the other thing, Russell, and all right, I need to do a tangent on a tangent kind of thing. I knew Russell was not going to have a good race, and I knew it because he was so consistent, he was doing so well, and it seems like 80-20 people that have a home race, they usually don't do too well. So I just kind of felt like with all that consistency and just being a home race, it was this, the cards were just stacked up to be like a great race, a great time, like everything. But at the same time, like statistically, I feel like the cards just said that something was bound to happen. And, you know, he probably would have been able to keep racing, but the incident with Guan Yu Zhou, he hopped out of his car to check on him. Some stuff happened with the stewards and taking the car and so forth. And so, yeah, he wasn't able to race. That said, so only having one car in the race, Mercedes was very happy to see Hamilton at the top of the pack, and he was fighting. I think there was definitely a chance, and I also want to say another kind of cutting off corners here, just going and going and going. I told you it was so much, right? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it, see some commentary on what other people think and so forth, but I really felt like Mercedes kind of possibly threw away the win. It felt like I felt like rather than trying to make the gap so that you just clearly take them out during the pit stop and so that there's no contention whatsoever, once they were at like that 19-second mark and it was right on the cusp there, they should have just went for it, pit them. Now you're directly on those two within half a second or so and just battle it out. And the car already seemed to have better pace. I think he would have been able to take Sainz and Leclerc easy. Not easy, but you know what I mean. Like, he would have been able to get it done, I think. I think they were looking for that perfect gap, and they just kept them out a little bit too long. And then once Charles started to get his purples, once his tires started to connect, then it was getting a little bit too late, and it just couldn't happen. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, that's why we have a comment section. Leave it in the comment section down below. So with that said, it was obviously a great race. Verstappen was able to overtake Sainz after the restart and so forth, but he had engine problems, so that brought him down. And Perez, I think he came from 17th to second place. I mean, that's a pretty good run. That was a pretty good run. I really wanted Hamilton to get that second, but is what it is. All right, so the British GP out of the way, obviously great race, one for the history books. I personally think I've watched it maybe 4 times already. But moving on to the Austrian GP, yeah, that's right, that's where we're gonna be. I think the, Austria, the Hungarian Grand Prix, I feel like those are definitely races that Red Bull tends to dominate a lot anyway. Obviously, Austria is the Red Bull ring. Despite my comment earlier about home races, I feel like Red Bull tends to, buck that trend, and they usually tend to do pretty well at their home race. So I expect them to be strong. Of course, I expect Ferrari to be strong. They still struggle a little bit with like degradation of their tires. But overall, the car has pace, and both drivers are great. I definitely kind of expect Mercedes to be in the mix. Now, perhaps maybe not so much at Austria and the Hungarian GP, but I think a little bit more than they would have been either way. But I'm hoping, and I do kind of expect that going forward, and then especially after the next 3 races, and then we go into summer break, I think we're going to start to see a very strong Mercedes in the second and third leg of this season. And obviously their upgrades are working. I mean, you saw Hamilton not only, there's been a few times where he outdid his teammate Russell in practice, but then in qualifying, not so much. A lot of different setup changes and stuff. I'm sure they're still doing some testing and so forth to the kind of changes they got going on. But overall, seems like Hamilton, and I'm sure Russell too, is a little happier with the lack of the porpoising, the little bit better pace of the car and so forth, and feel of the car. So I think that they're going to do well, but I think it's definitely Red Bull's to lose this weekend, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would think the same. But hey, leave those comments, SK, we'll get back to you. But I think other than that, I'm interested to see what happens in turn 4. Of course, there was an incident with who was it at first? I think it was Norris on Perez got a flag, or a penalty, I should say. And then after that, I think Perez got 2 penalties. Am I correct? I think he did it back to Norris. I think it was, and he got a penalty. And then I know for sure he did it to Charles Leclerc, and he got pushed off. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. I just think overall the pace of the cars between the past few races, and especially after the British GP, there's a lot of fighting and battling going on, and I think some of those regulation changes we're starting to see a little bit of it at play. Now, of course, we still need DRS and all that sort of stuff, but we're definitely seeing these cars battling, and not just at the back, or one quick pass and that's it. So it's getting good, and I know all of you out there are feeling it. I think that's probably why you're checking out this channel. You're looking for more F1 content. I'm looking to bring it to you all. It's very hard to produce all this content. I obviously have my main channel, which is SK Lifestyle, and if you feel obliged, I appreciate if you hit subscribe on that channel as well. But be sure to hit subscribe here, because this is where all the F1 content, all the motorsport stuff, all the action, you're gonna get it right here on this channel. So I appreciate all your support on it. Yeah, hit that like button, comment down below, hit subscribe. I'm not gonna give my predictions yet. Here, I'll throw out the podium. Why not, right? Sprinkle on a little kindness to you all out there. So I usually try to do predictions based off of not just the quality of the car and the driver and stuff, but just kind of what could randomly happen too. You know what I mean? Kind of, it's a gamble, right? It's predicting. But I'm gonna say, short of Verstappen having another issue with his car, which I think they're all going to be on top of it, especially for the home race. I'm going to go Verstappen. I'm going to go Hamilton. I'm going to go Russell. Yeah, that's right. I think the Ferraris are getting the boot this weekend. They had a good run, and I think Perez is going to miss out too. But with that said, I want to say to everybody out there, the top 3 teams, it's great to see Perez, Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, you know what I mean? Leclerc, Sainz. They're battling with each other as much as everyone else, and I really do think that the championship is not decided even if Max has the lead in the championship, there's a lot of people still in it. Perez, to me, is still in it. Charles, still in it. Sainz, still in it. And I'd say even Russell probably is still in it. And depending how quickly the Mercedes gets up to real par because of the deficit that Hamilton had, I say Hamilton has a shot. He has a potential possibility. But if it's up to par real soon, I'd say even he's still in it. You know what I mean? The swing happened real quick with Verstappen, and that swing could still happen with anybody else. And if you remember, what was it, 2010? I mean, I think the championship was so up and down. There were so many people in it, and this is starting to remind me of that. So I haven't written anybody off. I don't think it's anybody's championship to lose at this point. I think it's almost anybody's championship to win still. And as seen with the last race, even with Max so far ahead, still having problems with the car. So for anybody else, just kind of like, whoa, well, Charles lost it. Now it's Leclerc, or now it's Max Verstappen's. No, Max is in the lead, but I don't think he has it by a long shot. And we're still not even at a halfway point. We're there, we're almost there, but we're not even at it yet. So there's a lot of season left. And yeah, cheers, as they would say in Britain, to hopefully another great British type race this coming weekend at the Austrian GP. So with that said, I'm signing off. Again, my name's Sean Kilburn. This is F1P1 Life. I appreciate your time. See y'all next time.